So this is a quick meeting for our students, and it's going to walk through how we're preparing for the midterm. And so I'm just going to log back in. You can see my screen right now. And if you have any questions, please make sure you send me a note, and I'll be able to see that. And right now it's just Katya and I. I'm there. Oh, what can I hear? No. Okay. So this is how I would go through and create a midterm exam. And so in course content, we're just thinking about Unit 3. So what I've done is I've got two screens here you should be able to see. You should be able to see my course, and then on the right-hand side, what I've got is a screen full of just sort of cues to say, here's what should I take from Unit 3 Activity 1 content, what should I take from Unit 3 Activity 1 assignment, okay? And so as I go through, what I would do is I'd say, okay, Unit 3 Activity 1, I'd look through the content and try and find any questions that make sense that I think might work well on a midterm exam. Like this one looks pretty good. So I might just go ahead and copy that. If I can drag it. Nope, I'm gonna have to copy it and then paste it over here. And then I don't want to have the answers there, so I'm just going to crop it back down to here, so I just have the question. But I know it comes from Unit 3 Activity 1 content, so I can go find the solutions later on if I want to. I'm going to keep looking through the content and see what else looks good. Those ones look kind of easy. This one looks kind of hard or interesting, or this one, either one. So I think I'll take this one here. Paste it. And oops. Again, I think what I'll do is I'll crop it so I can only see the question there. But I know where the answer comes from, so that makes life a little bit easier, okay? And I'll just give it a little more space there, maybe tab it across. That's fine. And then what I would do is I continue going through and find any other questions that look good, and I would just be able to then just going to pause my video for a second because I can still hear. Katya, if you can hear there, can you mute your microphone? Just because we're picking up the next door neighbors there. And is there any other content ones I like in here? And I go through and do the assignment, and the assignment's either from the Google Doc, or a lot of times I have them down here as well. Then I take some of these from the assignment too. So this one, I remember a few people had some issues with, so I think I'll copy that and paste it over here. And what other assignments, questions look good? This one looks like a good question as well, so I think I'll copy that. Although I better keep the question as well, so maybe I'll take that whole thing, copy, and paste it in here. Oops. And just remind myself I can do all three, or I can get rid of a couple of them if I wanted to, but just remember what the actual question was, because it's important to know that was a single positive exponent and then evaluate. I don't have to do all three of them, but at least some of those will look good, okay? And then now I'm going to go into Unit 3 Activity 2. So in Unit 3 Activity 2, if I go back to the top here, and I go into my units, and I say, okay, Unit 3 Activity 2, what questions in here might look good? And as I scroll through, what can I find? That's a bunch of stuff about graphing. I'm not going to make you do graphs because you're not allowed to have a graph computer with you or a graphing calculator. So one of these questions will show up a bit later, I think. So what was important on here, one of the parts was what's the y-intercepts for each of the graphs. So I'm just going to stick that one in there under content and remind us that that was important about finding the y-intercept. That happens when x equals 0. So typically you have to go back to the table. So let's go down to the Unit 3 Activity 2 assignment. What are the values? What are the intercepts? Sorry, that was from the assignment, not from the content. So I think I'll just take that and stick it over here under the assignment. And maybe I won't put anything from the content there. And I'll go to Unit 3 or Activity 3. So in Unit 3 Activity 3, and this is what I do when I create the midterm. I go through and I find out questions similar to the content or the assignment ones, and I take them. So, I mean, I may actually end up grabbing some of the actual questions from here. Those look good. I could take one of those. Let me see if I can go through a bit further. Definitely one of these kind. Well, that's a good one. 16 to the -3/4. That's a great one. So let's copy that. So this is Unit 3 Activity 3. So that's a good one to have. And remember, then what I can do is I would print this off if I was you, and then I would go ahead and handwrite and do it. And then what I can easily do then is I can go back to my Unit 3 Activity 3 content and see the solutions. Oftentimes they're handwritten here or they're worked through here in videos. And if you have any questions, you can send it back to me, okay? Maybe I should pick another one from content here. Let's go up to something like these cube roots and stuff too. So that might be a good one too. Can I copy that? So there we go. And then from Unit 3 Activity 3 assignment, let's have a look at the assignment down at the bottom of the page here. So any of these questions would look good. There's a nice one. That's similar to the content one as well, right? So that's all of them, but I mean, I can pick and choose which ones I want to do, or I could do them all as well, all right? This is a neat one, but graphing on the same grid, but I'm not going to make you graph, so probably wouldn't pick something like that. Okay, let's go into Unit 3 Activity 4. So you can see we're building a midterm exam, and this is going to be your final project for your final, what we call a culminating activity, is you're going to have to build your own final exam where you have to have your own questions and your own solutions. So you can use similar ones to mine, you just will have to change the numbers, and I'll use the exact same ones I had. Okay, so we're doing some, this was the guess and check stuff I said you wouldn't have to do. Then they talked about some more simple powers there. Sorry, turn my email off. Some more simple powers, those are good ones to have in there. 3 to the x equals 27, how to solve that kind of thing, right? That could show up. So I'm going to crop that so I don't have the answer in there for me. So when I do it myself, I can actually go ahead and do the answers. No assignment, but you need the skills later. Okay, so there's nothing, there was no assignment here. And I'll keep moving on to Unit 3 Activity 5. Unit 3 Activity 5, what kind of things can I grab from there? Again, I grab a couple questions. Oh, that was the growth decay one. Schools population, there's a good question. Copy Unit 3 Activity 5 content. There we go. So now I can leave myself some room to answer it. I can't have you graphing like the whole one in the full graph, so we just do part of it. Here's the assignment. So I don't know, we could grab the whole assignment if you wanted to. Better take the whole thing here, copy, Unit 3 Activity 5 assignment, right? So again, I may not give you that exact one, I may not give you that one at all, but I could, or maybe I could change the instead of 2 hours, I could ask for something else. I could ask you for the y-intercept. I could change it instead of 1,500 to be 3,000. I could be doubling instead of tripling, all that kind of stuff, right? Unit 3 Activity 6. Let's go back. So this is pretty quick and easy. Unit 3 Activity 6. What kind of questions can we do in there? That's a harder one. I don't think I've actually asked you to do that in any of the solving ones. So I think I'm going to leave those ones out right now. Definitely did some of this kind of stuff though, right? So this was a good question, remember? Shoebox, we did a very similar one in the assignment. So I think I'm going to stick that one in there. Okay. And we know that the whole solution is written out here. Do note here, if you did it, I know a few people, this was 3 times 2 times 1. So 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. But I know a few people who did the one in the actual assignment where it was 3 times 3 times 1, and they did 3 times 3 times 1 is 7. So watch out for that because we're multiplying, not adding. Okay, I know a few people did that. Here's another one about a cylinder, so that might be a good one as well. Copy that one. And the reason I had these headings in here is then I can find out where it came from, so I can go back and get my answers, whether it was your own solutions in your assignment or from my feedback to you. And if you ever want my solutions, I can give you that too. So this one looks the same as that one, so I won't include that. This is something different about the sphere, so we can include that one too, maybe. Okay, and again, you're allowed to write whatever you want on your formula sheet that you bring in. You don't need all the formulas from the QAO. The only things we've done is spheres, cylinders, and rectangular boxes. So that's enough. I wouldn't include any other ones, but I won't give you the formulas on the midterm exam. So we're up to Unit 3 Activity 7, and this is only taking us 10 minutes. Okay, put the mortgages. Oh, no assignment on there, so that was easy. And it was just talking about stuff, so none. And I don't think I'm going to take anything from here because it wasn't an assignment. Let's go down to U3A8 then. I know there's definitely some questions in there. Investigating annuities. Okay, definitely a formula you need. Definitely you need to know this part, okay? And this is really, really important. So I think I can even put that in there because that's something I definitely want on my cheat sheet, okay? And then let's go ahead and find a question here. There's one. Oops. Okay. And there's another one. That's probably a good one too. So the first one was this formula A equals. The second one looks similar. That's the A equals 1. Okay, so that's not a problem. Maybe I want to find one that's the other kind with the PV one. Where's that one? That's A equals as well. The one with the present value there. I want one like that as well because that's the other kind. So where are we? Example, this one would work. Copy, paste. Okay. Or similar with this one. Copy, paste. So any of those are fair game, or I can maybe just change the numbers a little bit. And I may add that part B in here as well, I think, if I can add it in there. Okay. And there's some more examples, and then there's the actual assignment. So again, don't forget to identify those and show the substitution. I'm going to copy all of them in there. I think they're good practice to do. Okay. Of course, on the midterm, I'm not going to ask you all of them. I may ask you one question, maybe 2 questions from this type of thing, but I have to ask you something from there, I think. Unit 3, Activity 9. Was removed, so Unit 3, Activity 10. Amortization tables. So I can't actually make you create a whole amortization table because we did it in the assignment in the spreadsheet, so I couldn't have you do that. Is there anything from there I could ask? I don't think so, because it's doing an actual spreadsheet, right? So, so I probably can't ask you that. So I'm going to delete these Unit 3 Activity 9 stuff because it doesn't exist. Unit 3 Activity 10, spreadsheets, spreadsheets. So can't do on midterm. Okay. So then what are we at to next? Unit 3 Activity 11, factors that affect the mortgage. So I could ask you about the factors. And here, there's no actually assignment on there, but it does talk about some stuff. So I could ask you a content question there, I suppose. Unit 3, Activity 12. There's a career exploration, so definitely nothing we need there. I guess we're all done. Okay, so I'm going to save that document, and if you would like me to send it to you, I will. And remember, you can go back and check all your stuff. So there's a good sample midterm exam review. Katya, you're in the other room in the same Loyola Kingston, so if you have questions, I'll come over and answer them for you right there. And I'll stop recording, I guess, and I can always come back and do a personal meeting with anybody if they like. And I can even, you can share your screen, I can share my screen, which is pretty cool. Other things I can do as well. If I stop sharing here, I can actually do other things, like I can share whiteboard with you. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, in which case you can write on it, and I can also write on it, which is kind of neat. Okay. I can get you to share your own screen with me, and then I can help you out to see what's going on there. So there's lots of different options in these meetings. So if you ever want any help, let me know. And I think I'm going to end this meeting right now, because it's, and I'll go talk to you one-on-one there, Katya. Okay, thanks.